You have started over more times than you can count. The gym membership, the diet, the journal, the side project, the morning routine. You were absolutely certain was going to change everything this time. And for a few days, sometimes even a few weeks, it works. You feel different. You feel like the person you always believed you could be. And then something happens. Not a dramatic event, not a crisis, just life. A bad day, a missed workout, one meal that wasn't on the plan, one morning the alarm felt impossible. And just like that, it's over. Not with a decision exactly, just with a slow fade back into the old patterns that were always waiting for you. And then comes the voice. You always do this. You're so lazy. Why can't you just stick to something? Everyone else manages to follow through. What's wrong with you? This video is about that voice and why everything it's telling you is raw. Let's start with that quitting on yourself. It's not. It is not laziness. Laziness implies a lack of desire and absence of caring. But the people who keep quitting on themselves are almost never the ones who don't care. They are the ones who care too much, who want it so badly, and the gap between where they are and where they want to be feels not like a challenge, but like proof. Proof that they are not the person they hoped they were. Here's what's actually happening when you quit on yourself. The moment you start something new, a goal, a habit, a project, you're not just starting an activity, you're making a bet on yourself. And for a lot of people, that bet feels terrifying. Because if you try, really try, and it still doesn't work, then you have to face something much more uncomfortable than just being someone who did not try. Psychologists call this self handicapping, when the fear of failing after genuine effort is greater than the pain of not trying. We unconsciously create reasons to stop. We quit before we can be proven wrong about ourselves. We leave before we can be rejected. We abandon the goal before the goal can abandon us. It doesn't feel like fear when it's happening. It feels like being realistic. It feels like knowing yourself. It feels like I'm just not someone who follows through. But that story, I'm just not someone who follows through, is not a personality trait. It's a protection strategy. And here's what makes it worse. Every time you quit, the story gets stronger. See, you did it again. Each abandoned goal becomes evidence for a case your brain is building against you. A case that says, this is just who you are. And the stronger that case gets, the harder it becomes to start the next thing. Because starting the next thing means risking adding one more piece of evidence to a file that's already too full. There's something else too. Most people quit not at the beginning, when motivation is high and everything feels possible, but right at the point where it starts to get hard. Psychologists call this the valley of disappointment, the place where the effort is real but the results are not visible yet. Where you've been going to the gym for 2 weeks and don't look any different. Where you've been writing for a month and the work still isn't good. Where you've been trying and the evidence of the trying is not showing up yet in any way you can point to. Almost everyone quits in the valley, right before the curve. Not because they are weak, because they are human. And human needs feedback. Need to see that the effort is connecting to the outcome. And in the valley, that connection isn't visible yet. So we stop. And we never see what was waiting, just past the point where we gave up. I'm not going to tell you to just be more disciplined, or to want to be more, or to think about your future self. You have heard all of that. It hasn't been the missing piece. What I want to offer instead is a reframe. What if you're not someone who keeps quitting, but someone who keeps starting? Someone who, despite every disappointment, despite every abandoned journal and missed workout and failed attempt, keeps finding a way to try again. That's not weakness. That's one of the most quietly stubborn forms of hope there is. You don't need to be the person who never quits. You need to be the person who starts again. Smaller this time, maybe. Less pressure, less performance, less betting your entire self worth on whether the streak survives Tuesday. Just again, one more time. Not because you are certain it will work, but because some part of you still believes it might. You haven't been failing at following through. You have been afraid of what it means if you try and it still doesn't work. That's not the same thing. And it changes everything about how you begin again.